Hello everyone, this is Shiny Noctowls, and today I figured it'd be nice to stream some 2004Scape for you guys. It'd be nice to do. Let me get everything set up here. See how much rune essence we're going for. 60. Okay. Alright. There. A moment. Oh, I forgot to let you guys know I did some off-screen or off-stream mining, so I got from 36 to 37 off-stream. But I wanted to do some on-stream mining because I know you guys like to watch as well. Even though I know uh, mining is can be rather tedious, it's also kind of relaxing too. And it's not like I'm that far away from 40 mining. Just gotta get 3 more levels. I could also mine iron ore as well, but bigger rune essence, it's a little bit not easier, but it's just more relaxing, I guess. Not as many clicks. Plus, rune essence are always in high demand, so I guess iron ore is too in a way. To see how much iron ore is. Because I guess you use that to make use that to make iron arrows, yeah. Like someone's selling rune essence for 190. I usually sell them for 175, which I think is fair, at least for now. Watchtower, I think I need 40 mining, and then I need some other stuff for it, so I'd have to see. Yeah, 40 mining, 14 herb lore, which I have, 25 agility, which I have, 15 thieving, and 14 magic. Yeah, so I have everything. Well, I mean, aside from the mining, so once I get that, should be able to do the quest and get a lot of magic XP. You can also get 5k from it, which is also not bad. I wonder if the Ring of Wealth is in this game, because it helps with the... Because I think this game does have a rare drop table, just because of the loop keys. Yeah, so those go for quite a bit. And dragon weapons, they're not so bad. Alright. So here. See. I guess per 1,000 rune essence, I guess it's 5,000 XP. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either, I guess. Let's see. It's amazing how many quests I've done so far. Maybe once we get close to 1,000 rune essence, I'll sell them. See something. Ooh. So glory helps mining gem rocks. You know what? Let's see. How about the Ring of Wealth? Does that do anything? Mining. We might be able to eventually get those two items. So glory would help, especially with getting gems. Emeralds go for a lot too. You know what? Let's actually sell these rune essence, and then we can go for maybe we can mine some iron ore, get some gems that way. Let's see. We don't need a ring of wealth right now per se, but oh, someone's coming. Maybe that is bad. What's his name? Michael. Do that. There he is. Yeah. Uh, let me see. 180. Right. Okay. How about, let me ask him. How about 75? Okay. 178? Let me see if he will take it. Glad I got my glory. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, I think. Yeah. So we sold the essence. Yeah, we're gonna get some iron ore now, and then that way, we can also probably get some glories too with that. Let's see if oh, that's pretty quick actually. See if I can. There's a fight for them. I see. See. Yeah, it's gonna be a little bit tough to do that, but it was worth it though. Some good XP. Funny. That's one, so. This is bad. Trying to get 40 mining here. It's just... Take your time with the pig. Hey, emeralds are worth it. That's one emerald per run. That's not bad. Guess I'm getting pretty fortunate there. Glory was worth getting for sure. Wait, let me put this at the top, 'cause... I don't know which way he... I think he bangs the same way I do. My turn. So silly. I'm so confused. Wait. Hey, Siller, glad you could join the stream. Have I met you in game before, or have you been in any of my previous streams? I don't exactly remember, but if so or if not, or either way, I'm glad you were able to make it. Right now, I'm not fighting someone for the iron ore spot, but we're kind of swapping out as we bank. He's back. Oh, nice. Oh. Cells. Oh, are you talking about? Are you talking about Artie? The only other place I could think of is Karumjo or Falador or something. Actually, I don't know that. Can you smith a pickaxe? Oh, whoa. That's Sam. Let's see here. You still here, Siller? I'm just trying to remember where I met you, because there was a lot of spots I was fighting imps. I just don't know exactly what was the spot. There's Falador, Karumja, Ardoin. Oh, I got you on my friends list actually. Okay. Trying to remember. We're not too far from 39 mining. I'm glad we did this, because we could have kept mining rune essence all the way to 40, but I wanted to do something to break up the monotony a little bit, so... Well, this was nice meeting that guy. Apparently he's Danish. Part of my diverse ancestry. Oh. 7 more. Funny. Gotta pull off. I think we've got a good system going now. Oh, hey, Jesper. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Jesper Larson. Are you, sunshining in the game? Or, wait, I think it's, Jasper, I think? No, Jesper, I was right. Okay. Oh, I think I am. Hopefully. Just wanted to get your name right, cause I know one vowel sound can make a difference. It's like saying Bjorn, or it's like saying Bjorn instead of Bjorn. I watched a YouTuber from Jesper, Danish J. Oh, so it's like in Norwegian. Yeah, I watched a Norwegian YouTuber called Bjorn Andreas Bohansen, and at first I would pronounce his name like a J, and then I learned it was a Y. And then I learned later on, my dad, his name is Siggy. I found out part of his ancestry had like Danish Viking. There's a Danish tribe called the Dani. Norwegian Viking. He had a lot. He had a lot of stuff in his ancestry, which is interesting. I think Nordic Autogit was another one. A lot of stuff that I didn't know until I looked at his ancestry, and I was like, oh, now I know why your name and your dad's name were both Siggy. So. Don't worry, I got, well, you can tell how many I have left. But yeah, no, I'm almost at 39 mining. I'm not too far away. Then I only have one level left until 40. Just mainly doing this for Watchtower. And also it helps people at the bank. Yeah, I know that's what Bjorn told me. He told me that Sweden and Norway, although they're not carbon copies of each other, well, I hope not, because, you know, you don't want to be, be unhealthily inbred, but he said that, you know, even though they're different countries, you know, they're so similar as far as ancestry is concerned that there's a lot of cross-section. I guess, you know, maybe you could compare that maybe to like Spain and Portugal, or maybe some connection with Greece and Italy. So I guess I could see that, yeah. Or maybe some of the Balkan countries. Maybe. On a good day. I had a Serbian one time who told me that he felt like I had Serbian blood because I like mayonnaise, and I had a friend from Germany. Well, he specifically says he's from Bavaria. He says it's the best. Apparently, it's the best part of Germany in his mind. But he kind of laughed when I told him the Serbian told me about liking mayonnaise was somehow it got me in the club, you know, with the Serbians somehow. I'm sure other people, other countries like mayonnaise other than just Serbians, so or other people. But yeah. Um but yeah, I know actually my Uncle Herman, interesting thing about his name is that in Spanish, the way you spell Herman is with a G, not with an H, so it's Herman. So a lot of people get confused when they see my uncle's name, and it's like, why is his name spelled with a G? And I'd say, well, that's just how it's spelled in Spanish, but we call him Herman either way. Um, and he's actually his daughter Summer is actually having a child named Bjorn, which is pretty cool. So it's interesting how kind of things come full circle. Um, we're now I not only know someone from Norway named Bjorn, but now my uncle's daughter is also having a child named Bjorn. So it's a good name. I think it's pretty nice. Oh, I got another emerald. That's 3 emeralds in a row. I'm quite shocked, but actually it's not a bad thing. Oh, no worries. I guess that's just like how people uh how would I say it? Like for example, the G in Spanish, like Herman, is pronounced like an H, just like in I guess in Norwegian and I guess Danish, the J is pronounced like a Y. So it's interesting how that works. I was thinking of a word in Spanish with a J. I guess jamon would be one thing. I guess if you pronounced it the Norwegian or Danish way, you'd say jamon. Or you could say I like, or or you could make a joke saying, do you like jamon? Jamon. Or maybe that's a terrible joke, but I was thinking about that. But yeah, no, the reason why I use Rhineboo and Arcoides is because it is kind of both part of who I am. I have both, like, it's like, imagine if you mix like a Spartan, a Trojan hero, a Viking or Norseman, Japanese, native, American, Celtic, Gaul and Ireland, Scotland. Just imagine, and I guess part of Italy. Just imagine you mixed all that into like one big pot, and then that's kind of me. uh, so but I'm fine with that because honestly, I think it's kind of a blessing in some ways to be related to so many people, so many different cultures. It's also helped me kind of. I'm interested in history and stuff and different cultures and also what Uncle Herman calls the DNA migration map. So it just kind of helps me understand uh, just all the things that I resonate with, really. Yeah, no, it's kind of cool just because even when I look at my family, like at my dad's side and my mom's side, it's just there's so many different kind of looks. Like I think my great grandfather Cleves. I think that name actually, because I know my uncle Herman and my dad told me he came from, or I guess his family came from like Cleve, Germany. That's so close to like the Netherlands that when I tell most Germans about it, they're like, we don't know what that is. But the Dutch people know what it is. They're like, yeah, we walk there and get our groceries, or we get, something to drink. Um, I think I found out Cleve somehow the name. Uh, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think part of the name originated from like Scandinavia or somewhere. I'd have to look at it, but it also makes me think of like a cleave, like an axe is cleaving something. I think it's because I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 14 that I enjoy playing, and I play Warrior, and yeah. Cleave, I'll spell it for you. It's starts with a K, I think. It's the same name as the town or the city. Um, it's kind of like I guess what is now known as modern day northwestern Germany. Like it's really close to the Netherlands. I know that. Um, but yeah. I know also there's different ways to say rainbow, like in German, Dutch, and Norwegian, or I guess Danish too, really. Uh, I prefer Rheinbu a lot more than Regenbogen. It's just Rheinbu to me just feels like I my soul resonates more with it. I know the Dutch. Well, I don't know if they have different dialects depending on what part of the Netherlands you're from, but I think I had a Dutch person who told me it's like Regenboei or something. I'd have to remember, but he told me something like that. So just for me, Rheinbu, um, it just it just resonates with my soul. Hey, we got 39 mining, only one more level till 40, and then we can finally do Watchtower. But we're probably not going to do it this stream, we'll probably save it for another stream, maybe. Oh, I didn't even know that. Yeah, I know. I looked at like I used a website called MyHeritage just to check out my ancestry, and I think I had a lot of cousins from I had cousins from or fourth cousins. So I guess it might be a little bit of a ways away, but they were from Sweden, Norway, and Denmark. I think I had more. I was more genetically related to people from those countries on average than even people from Germany. And I think I also had some cousins in the Netherlands too. I guess we can, um, yeah, Viking cousins, yeah. Well, I have you know, even though I have a salt and pepper beard, I do sometimes grow, you can, yeah, I know you're waiting for me. But, no, I, sometimes, grow, like, strands of red hair in my beard, even though it's, like, salt and pepper. Um, I know a lot of people, or at least according to Bjorn, a lot of people think that I don't know why a lot of people, some people think that all Vikings were blonde, but they probably never heard about Eric the Red. You know, Eric the Red with his red hair and red beard. You know, maybe they think only the Irish and the Scottish had red hair, but yeah. So for me, sometimes in my dark beard, I'll grow strands of red hair, and they're kind of like it reminds me of like rekindling ambers or embers, and it's something that I kind of think is neat. I'm not a full-blown redhead though, because I grow like dark hair, but I do have some red hair in my beard, so it's kind of like the fire is still going in a way. Yeah, yeah, I think it's just stereotypes. I don't know where these people come from that think that all Vikings had blonde hair. I don't know if because you know Bjorn has some people on his channel that believe that the Earth is flat. Uh, and and I don't know what to really say about that, but they were convinced that the Earth is flat, so I guess they maybe they thought the Vikings somehow uh, I don't know, maybe they thought some of their boats fell off the face of the planet or something when they were sailing. But yeah, no, I can tell you what cousins I have from Denmark if you're okay with that. It doesn't tell you like where they live exactly in Denmark, so I think it's okay. Because I know some you know some people are you know they have their privacy, but I'm related to a person named uh related to a person named Mate. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Mate Johanna Olsen. Uh, my great grandfather Cleves, his middle name was I think Johannes, I think. So maybe I have some of that ancestry from him potentially. Not exactly sure, but um, it's spelled like this. I'll see if I can write it down for you. Uh, yeah. Is there another way to pronounce it? Yeah, yeah. So there's another person I'm related to named fourth cousin again. Noah Moakirk. Moakirk. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Uh, yeah, I'll write it. I'll write it down. The last name. Um, Yeah, I think that name, Mowerkirk, or it's apparently oh, it's of Dutch origin. Okay, I didn't know that. Maybe someone from the Netherlands migrated to Denmark and they stayed there. I don't know. Yeah. And then there's another person I'm related to named Laura Ocampo Guzman. So seems like her name is more Spanish. Maybe she might have married a Danish person, or I don't know, something like that. Or maybe she just settled there. Or maybe she was born there. I don't know. um, and another one named Daniel Orlando Moisen. Uh, Moisen. I'd have to look where that name comes from. I don't know if you know, but um. Oh, it comes from Burgundy, France. Okay. Or wait. Yeah. Yeah. Give me a sec. I know some of the French or even the French Canadians are a little bit particular with pronunciations, but I try my best. You know. Yeah, I figured it was like Danish, Norwegian, or something. I think the Swedish I think they spell some of their words with two S's instead of one. I think. Um, let's see. There's another person I'm related to. This one, I'm gonna try my best to pronounce it. It's Jote. Hopefully that's right. Jote Hendrickson. Oh, has it? Okay. Oh, son of. Okay, so is Sen in is that essentially son in Norwegian and Danish? I know Bjorn was saying he kind of made a joke, uh, and I know he would probably say excuse me for my French, but he said in one stream, "You fucking idiots! You don't even know how many words in English were inspired by Norwegian and Old Norse and stuff." Because on this channel, people would say, you're going to hell for believing in Odin, and uh, you know, you're a heathen, you know. But no, I enjoy watching this content. We don't always agree on everything, but we don't have to. Actually, I think he even said it himself that democracy, which well originated originally in Greece, but according to him, there was also democracy in Scandinavia. That that's it's good to have different opinions. So yeah, I think my dad was related to a group of people. He had a lot of people he was related to. I think he was closer. He's more closely related to, I think, like Danish Viking than he was Anglo-Saxon. Because like my dad is um he's dating someone named Julie, and she has blonde hair and blue eyes, but more closely related to Anglo-Saxons and Franks than to Viking Danish. I think she has some of that in her ancestry too. But I remember at first I told her, you know, do you feel connection with the like the Vikings and at first she said nope. But I think over time she got a little bit more comfortable. I think when I showed her Bjorn, I think yeah, she enjoyed his channel. So and Bjorn reminds me a lot of my actually both my grandfathers a little bit. Of course, my grandfather Sigifredo Senior. Sigifredo is how you would say Siggy in Spanish. Or I guess well Siegfried, Siegfried, Sigurd. Um, yeah, so he reminded me a bit of him, and then a little bit of my grandfather, Rafael Ortega as well. And I think that's also because the Visigoths, apparently they had originated in Scandinavia, and I was looking at part of their lineage, their paternal lineage, and part of their lineage actually is shared with the Norsemen, because I guess it goes back to the lineage I1, I think. Uh, so I guess originally they were in one place, and then they somehow spread out to different locations. So that was pretty interesting to learn. I know Bjorn. I think he has like a someone from Spain who translates his books, his Viking books into Spanish. So it's interesting to learn about. Yeah. So, oh, I'm also related to someone named Edwin Olsen. I think I read Olsen because I was related to some Olsens from different places in Scandinavia. I think it means son of Olaf, I think. Yeah, Olsen, I think. Or I know there's different ways you spell it, depending on the country depending on which Scandinavian country it is. Yeah. So let's see. And then yeah, let me check. Was Olsen, was he fourth cousin or fifth cousins? No, fifth cousin. Well, still there, you know, a little bit further away. But yeah, so because I think I looked at Sweden as well because I had some. I was also related to people from Sweden. I was related to what was it? I have a person I'm related to named Martha Monson, and then here they spell it with two S's. Uh, then there's Natalia Jakobsen, I think, is another one. Uh, let's see. These are oh man, Martha Monson. She's actually third or fourth cousin, so a little bit closer. Um, it's interesting, you know, how far back things go. Um, Maria Olst, I think. Olst. Hopefully that's right. Olst. Yeah. Um, Olivia Osterman? Osterman, I think. Um, Roxana Johansson. So another Johansson, but this time it's with two S's. Um, let's see. Marcos Nikolosson, I think. Yeah, it's not my first language, but I try my best. I think knowing English helps a little bit. Let's see. I think I'm close to 40 mining. Oh, we're not too far away. Where are you? Oh, well, I was born here. Well, I don't know if you can tell. Some people can't. Some people think I'm from the UK or Ireland or something because of my accent. But I actually was born and raised in the US. Some people call it America. I call it the US because there are, well, as you can see, America's, they go all the way from Patagonia and Chile uh, uh, to I guess the Arctic Circle in Alaska and Greenland. I also have like some ancestry related to Japanese and Native Americans, so I kind of have ancestry going from the very far south to the Antarctic to the very far north in the Arctic, even as far north as Greenland. So it's interesting how things come full circle. That you know, somehow um, all that just became part of me. You know. Let's see. Oh, nice. Yeah, I know in some of the, well, I don't know here in Idaho. I think here there's a lot of people with like English, German, and I think Scottish ancestry. But I think further east, I think like in the Dakotas and especially Minnesota. I'm sure you've heard of the Minnesota Vikings. I think there's a lot of roots from Scandinavia, and I even think, excuse me, Finland as well. I think I had a little bit of Finnish ancestry as well. I think one test said specifically like 3.6%, which I think is kind of fitting because it's like 360, you know. There you go, I got 40 mining. All right, I'll leave the rocks to you. I think I'm done mining for a little while. Um, yeah, I'll probably be doing Watchtower next stream, so that'll be nice. Okay, let's not forget Norway, because Norway, you know, out of all the Scandinavian countries I've thought about, aside from Denmark, of course, and Sweden, um, I really have connected a lot with Norway, and maybe that could also be because of Bjorn. Um, I'm going for 60, almost at 57. Oh, nice, that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, let's see. I know Bjorn always talks about growing out your beard, and I've been growing my beard, but I've also been growing my hair as well. Because of course, you know, you can grow your beard, but I don't want to be one of those people with a super long beard, but like being very bald, you know, in the head, or the Scottish would say the heat, you know. Let's see. Yeah, so Norway, I'm related to person name. Hopefully, I'm pronouncing this right. Joachim Osterman, I think. Uh, and then there's another one named Elizabeth Ostable, I think. I guess in Norway the O's have like a little dash in the middle of it, which is I think is pretty cool actually. Like a like something going through it. Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that. I also there's another person named Lena Clavel Neuberg, Neuberg, I think. Um, another one named Frederick Rauld, I think. Some pretty cool names, I think. Here's another one named Veronica Bjorn Dahlen. Dahlen, I think. Yeah. Roxana Hart. I like that name because when I spell the word heart, like Heart, I always spell it like heart, like the way this is spelled. Yeah, it's pretty cool, like to kind of see the diversity of all the different names. I know some people, I don't know why they have the stereotype that they think Scandinavia is just this one clump of everyone that somehow looks very similar or almost the same, but no, there's different. There is more. Or I think as Bjorn says, we are a people. We still exist, as he says. We're not just we're not just a people without a culture. Yeah. And let's see. There's another one named Pedro Roselan. Roselan, I think. Yeah. A lot of interesting names. Uh, yes. Again, a mixture. Hey, it's not a bad thing. I know Bjorn told me he's not a full-blooded Norseman. He's I think uh, majority Norse, but he's also Celtic, and I think he's also 1/2% of Native American from the Amazons, which I thought was pretty cool. Fishing Guild. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, no. I told Bjorn, or I don't know if I told him, but I told someone from Ireland about the Mormon look. I don't know if you've heard about the Mormon Church or any of that, but some of the Mormons have, at least, because there's a fair few of them here in Idaho and then also in Utah. They've started having this problem of developing what's known as the Mormon look, where since the Mormons, they're a little bit, so in my viewpoint, they're a little bit similar to, some of like I guess some of the Israelis or other groups of people who they only interbreed or they only intermarry. It's like a very close knit circle, as it were. Even some of the Native Americans have that too, like the Paiute or the Ute tribe in Utah, where a lot of the Mormons live. They were actually related to the Aztecs. I think their blood quantum is like 5/8 to be, to get be enrolled in their tribe. But anyways, the Mormons, they've been starting to get this illness where they have been getting these genetic deficiencies because they're becoming too closely I guess interbred with one another or whatnot. So yeah, so that's why, Bjorn, when people kind of make fun of him and say, "Oh, you're not a real Viking. You're not." They all they say you're not blonde. You're not a Christian. You're not this. You're not that. Bjorn tries to tell them, as Vikings, we didn't all look the same. Well, we look different. Yeah. Yeah, like we look different. We had a belief system before Christianity, and he's very vocal about it, and I can understand why, because I know it's very important to him. It's very important to his identity, his culture, his roots. So I can understand that. Um, yeah, let me see if I can. Yeah, no, I think that's why Bjorn said too, like um when he spoke about how Old Norse influenced English, he spoke about Tuesday is Tears Day, uh, like the Norse gods and goddesses. Wednesday is Woden's or Odin's Day. Thursday is Thor's Day. Friday's Freya's Day. Uh, I don't know about the other days, but he told me about that. So, let's see. And I think the people who bug him the most, yeah, Freya's Day, or I think there's I think there's many ways you can spell it. I think that's one of the ways, one of the other ways, yeah. um, but yeah, I think most of the people who give him problems, at least on his channel, I think maybe this is why he says America or the USA or the US of A or however he says it. Um, I got a couple. Oh, okay. I actually didn't know that. You taught me something. I just spelt it that way because I thought it looked cool. You know? But yeah, no, I think um, oh, give me a sec. Oh, uh, yeah, yeah. Maybe I don't know how many people will give him problems from Europe because maybe people from Europe maybe they're better in tune with their ancestry. Uh, but I know in at least a lot of people from the uh, and I kind of feel bad because I live here. I was born and raised here, so I feel bad, But um, like I know my dad, he was born in Colombia or in South America or Colombia, and my mother was born in Cuba, but I was born here, so it's kind of one of those things where I kind of feel bad for Bjorn when other Americans kind of pick on him. Especially, if they have Norse roots themselves, because it's kind of like you're telling him you go to that he's going to hell, but you also had ancestors that were, or you might have had ancestors that were at least partially Viking, so or Norse. So, but Maybe they just don't know, you know. It could be a number of things. Ooh. Hello, hola. Let's see. Okay, yeah, it's fine. Okay. All right, give me a sec. I think I was looking for. Well, I can always get more, you know. That's well, part of being Gem Rainbow is not only hoarding all the gems for myself, but also sharing them with others. You know? I think yeah. I'm keeping one of each, at least for now. So let's see. Yeah, I don't know if I've met too many people who specifically say they have Norse ancestry in the U.S. I only met one person. Well, I didn't meet him in person, but I met him online, and he was very vocal. Well, similar to Bjorn, but he was more vocal about being a Danish Viking or Danish Norseman. I think he told me you and I are the same at one point. And yeah, it's kind of so you might resonate with that maybe. I think maybe he would be called Danish American, you know. Yeah, yeah, I don't meet too many people who talk about Norse ancestry. I meet people who do talk about Irish though, a lot of Irish. I do have some Irish in me. Well, it's kind of mixed because I do have Irish in me, but I know some of the Irish also uh, they had mixed with the Norse as well, so it's like a fusion of Celtic and Norse. Because I think my dad on his DNA test he'll say like 30% Irish, but then he gets all the results from Scandinavia, so it must be a mix. Yeah, or Irish, Scottish, Norwegian, Danish. It's kind of like you get a big pot and you stir it all together and somehow it just comes out, you know. So yeah, I meet a lot of Irish, Scottish, German, some English. Not many people say they're English for whatever reason, but I meet some people. Like my dad's wife, Julie, definitely she'll say she's English. Um, but yeah, Scandinavia, or I guess I've also met some Italian too. Yeah, Italian. Yeah, Italians or some Italians will let you know they're Italian. Yeah, I actually had some good Italian pizza today. There was some frozen Newman's pizza. I don't know if they sell them in Denmark where you live, but they were on sale at my grocery store for 3.99, and that was the best $3.99 I've ever spent on frozen pizza. Because usually I don't like frozen pizza, but the pizza from Italy was very good, and I think it was also part of the money was going to a charity. I think they were helping like Native American communities and other communities in need, and I thought that was pretty cool. But yeah, it was really good pizza. Yeah, it was an Italian salami. Yeah, it was good. I've been to Italy before, and their pizza is really good. The pizza here in the U.S. is good, but in Italy, they just know how to cook well. At least in my opinion, they know how to eat well. They know how to cook well. You know, yeah. Um, I go to a discount grocery store, so that might help too. I know some people they throw a fit about going to a place like that, but I'm fine with it. I've always done that. And I've never gotten sick from the food. I've only gotten sick if I undercook the food myself. I've gotten better at cooking though, thankfully enough. But yeah. But yeah, like probably should be getting back to Varrock now. Trying to think. I might just mine some more Rune Essence because it's really AFK before I end the stream eventually. It's fun chatting though. You can tell I enjoy good conversations. And yeah, I've let me see who else. Well, I've definitely met people here in the U.S. They'll definitely let you know if they're Mexican for sure. Uh, uh, Especially also Native American Mexican. Um, Trying to think who else. I've met some Asians. Vietnamese, Chinese, one Japanese, but that was a friend of a friend. I actually visited Japan before, and I had a good time there. I went to Kyoto, Osaka, and Tokyo, and that was a great time. Or Tokyo, yeah. And the people were friendly to me too. I think it helped that I was willing to speak a little bit of Japanese, even if it was broken. Uh, I would say Mizu-san for water. And oh, nice. Um, so I'm glad you. It seems like you've also enjoyed your time there as well. My mom actually recently went to Korea and Japan, both, and she enjoyed her time there. I know in Korea they're having some problems right now with you probably know him, or maybe you don't. Yeah, for sure. I know both Japan and South Korea are currently having problems with some nuisance streamers. I know one of them is by the name of Johnny Somali or Ramsey, or I don't know if you've heard of him, but yeah, I hopefully things will get resolved eventually regarding that. But I think in one video he was talking about trying to go to the Netherlands for whatever reason. But yeah, it was silly. But so basically Johnny Somali, he's a YouTuber who he first went to Japan and he was blasting. He was playing sounds on his phone about Hiroshima and Nagasaki, about the atomic bomb, which to me is pretty pretty unsettling to do. But I guess he didn't really think much of it, and then he was bugging people on the train, saying Hiroshima, Nagasaki, and actually a Korean, Korean American actually tried to stand up for the Japanese, which I thought was a good thing because I know Korea and South Korea and Japan, they haven't had the best history with each other, but I'm glad he was willing to step in and say, hey, you can't do this, and Johnny was saying, well. Um, he said Korean War or something. He was trying to antagonize them too, or whatever. and now he's in South Korea, but he's done some well, first he was in Japan. He was doing all these crazy things, and I think he got jail time there. I think because I think he was trespassing on some property or something. I don't know. Yeah, and yeah, so he was in jail in Japan for I don't know how long, and then he left back to the U.S. Then he went to South Korea, and then in South Korea he went to like a convenience store in Seoul, I think, and he was throwing noodles at he's throwing noodles on the ground or something. It's really weird. And then he called the Korean Chinese lady or something. It was really strange, but and uh, and then he had a dead fish in his hand, and I don't know what he was doing with it. It was really odd. And he also um, did some pretty nasty things to one of the Korean statues there. It was a kind of a memorial for the comfort women from World War II. So it's pretty. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah. So basically, what happened was he's currently like on trial for multiple different crimes, and he's staying with I guess he met a friend, or I don't know if they're boyfriends or what, but he has someone in Korea he knows named Hank Yu, and he's staying with him, and it's I don't know how to describe it. It's just a really weird situation. Like I just yeah it's hard to put words to it, you know. Especially in a place, especially like well, Japan was bad enough, but especially a place like South Korea, like I don't know what to say, you know. And then he was talking about fleeing to North Korea, and he was playing North Korean nationalist music about Kim Jong Un or something. It's just really weird stuff, you know. It's, but yeah, no. Um, Appreciate you listening. It was hard. It was hard for me to talk about because to me it's just really strange. It's really strange behavior. But yeah, I mean, you see South Korea. I haven't visited there yet. I know my mom did, and she had a really good time there. I have had Korean barbecue before, and I always thought that was really good. Filipino barbecue is also really good too if you haven't had that. But yeah, and it's not only him, by the way, because I know some people try to blow it up that he's the only problem. But there's another guy named Ice Poseidon, and I kind of a bit upset. Well, because using like Poseidon's name in his name is just having a Greek god being part of his name and also doing some crazy stuff. It'd be like if someone was named Ice Odin or something and they did some crazy stuff. But anyways, so with Ice Poseidon in Japan, what he's done is he's also from the U.S. by the way. I feel bad. I feel bad that all these people are from the country that I was born and raised in. But anyways, so Ice Poseidon, he was in a taxi in Japan, and he was having problems with his girlfriend or something, who I think was also Japanese at the time, and he said he was gonna hurt her or kill her or whatever, and and then he punched he punched what do you call it? Yeah, he punched the what do you call it? The I guess the front mirror, or the what do you call it? So like you have a car, and then there's like a big uh window in front, you know, or I'm sorry if I don't have the exact terminology, but anyways, he punched it, and I'm surprised the taxi driver didn't go after him for at least helping him to repair that front glass. I think that's an appropriate term. Front glass of his car or whatever it is. And uh, and then what else did he do in Japan? Um, well, I think he was like he had like I don't know if it was his girlfriend or something, but I think one time they were like at a hotel and she was like yelling in Japanese, and I think he and some other guys tried to lock her in the or I don't know what they did, but it was just really weird behavior. And then when he went to Korea, because he also went to Korea like Johnny, he was making fun of how the Koreans speak. Like he like the Koreans would speak in Korean, and he would say hyun hyun or whatever nonsense. It's like when the people like try to do that to the Chinese when they say ching chong or whatever. But yeah, so and then I think in South Korea he tried to uh, he tried to mess with I think there's like a I think they call it like a DMZ. Like he went to like the DMC in North Korea, South Korea, and he was trying to like say, you know, look at me, you know, I'm at the DMZ, and just some really strange behavior. And then I think because I think Johnny Somali wanted to pick a fight with him. They met in person, and they both had their quote unquote bodyguards with them, and I just like I just don't really have words for it. Like I don't know what would have happened to them if they did that in Denmark or Norway, by the way. I like I think of like Bjorn, because Bjorn like will do videos of him sometimes with his Danes axe, and I know he's in Norway, but he has a Danes axe, and he did a video where he had like this skull that was kind of like what do you call it? Like a prop or something, and then he hit the skull with so much force that it like cracked open. And so yeah, I don't know what would have happened if they went to Denmark or Norway or whatever, but I guess somehow or for some reason they feel alright doing all this in South Korea and Japan, and it's just really strange, you know. Oh, hey, RA Tacky, you're buying Essence for 80 GP each? Well, I'll tell you something. I had a customer who was buying them for 175, so so I'm all right for now, but I appreciate it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, see, I don't know, like for example, like if what's his name? If Ice Poseidon, let's say he was in a taxi in Denmark, and he punched the front glass of of a Danish taxi. Uh, in my mind, what I think what would happen, well, maybe it would depend on the person, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Dane, had like a Danish accent in the back of his. Yeah, like and then Johnny Somali with the dead fish. Like if he did that in Norway, again, I wouldn't be surprised if he'd also get chased by a Dane axe or Norse axe or I don't know what, you know, because I think in Norway they have pretty good salmon. So, but yeah, yeah. So to me, maybe it's just a setting. Maybe they just think they can do whatever they want in. Uh, I know in the Philippines, I know there was a guy. I think it was a Russian American. He went to the Philippines, and let me tell you what, the Filipinos were not playing. You know. So, but no, I think in Japan and South Korea, they shouldn't have to resort to excessive violence to solve things. I know it's not really. Um, not to say that the countries have had violence in the past. For example, like the samurai and all the different wars that they had, the Bolshin wars and different things. But I think it's in their nature, at least with the Japanese, and I'm sure similarly with the South Koreans, to be accommodating to their guests. Whether they're tourists or people visiting abroad, gaijin. I honestly, when I was there, they treated me almost like family, and maybe that was just because I was willing to try to speak their language, and I'm also technically related to them as well, because even with the Native Americans, some of them have maternal lineages related to Japanese, South Koreans, Asians, and it is kind of like what do you call it? Some people might say cousins, some shared ancestry. But yeah, like to me, like when I was in Tokyo, I that was when I was speaking broken Japanese, and I was saying Mizu-san, which I was trying to save water for three, and then a Japanese family they invited me to eat with them it was like a sushi bar. Um, oh, nice, that's pretty cool. Well, it was probably more than you being the first foreigner. I'm sure they looked at your demeanor and they said, hey, he's a pretty nice guy, or well, he's a pretty kind guy. I prefer kind over nice. The word nice guy has kind of been not really hasn't grown to have a good connotation over time, but yeah. Oh, that's nice to hear. Yeah, no, I think the Japanese and I guess also the South Koreans, they uh sometimes when I see them, the more I learn about them, the more I can see the parallel with the Native Americans. Because even though the Japanese and South Koreans they've made huge advances in technology, at the core, if you look, at the core of the ancestry, and it can go back even as far back as 10, 20,000 years ago, there's still that shared lineage, that shared ancestry, and I feel like just like how the Japanese and South Koreans can be accommodating, I feel like the natives are too. Um, I had a friend that she looked a lot like my great grandmother Lita, who looked very similar to a Japanese woman, modern Japanese woman, and she told me, if I could, I would share some of the Pacific Northwest salmon with you. She was from British Columbia, which is in Canada, and yeah, I think like they just have that uh, nature for that predisposition for hospitality. That it's a shame that people take advantage of it. Um, and I know not everyone does, of course, but it's just one of those things that it's hard to kind of talk about at times. Now, I haven't been to Scandinavia yet, or at least not yet, but of course I told you I went to Italy. I went to Rome and Florence, and I also went to England as well. I went to London. So it was a good time. Um, I know there's so many different countries in Europe, so it would probably take a while to visit all of them. But yeah, at least that Serbian guy, I guess me liking mayonnaise was enough to was enough for him to say, "Hey, you're not all that bad." And then I have been to South America. I've been to Ecuador. I went to the Galapagos Islands, and that was really fun. I still got an album of all the different pictures I took. Yeah, we'll see. I know Serbia. You know, I actually have ancestry. Well, I know it's a little bit of a. I know Bjorn. He talks about ancestry shouldn't really be a divisive topic, but I know in Serbia there were a lot of people who went through there. There were the well, there were the Aurelians, or well, people related to Mycenaean Greeks going back to the early to late Bronze Age. They were known as the what was known as the Age of Heroes. You know, back in well, Greece. But you know, that whole area in the Balkans. You know, they had ancestry related to the Mycenaean Greeks. Then I know over time in the medieval ages, you had a lot of people from maybe it could have been from Eastern Europe. I prefer calling them the Scalaveni over the Slavs because I know even Bjorn. I think he told me his part of his ancestry was also he had a bit of Slavic ancestry, but he also talks about that he's never a slave, and I know that the word slave came I think was originated from Slavic or in English. So I prefer to use Scalaveni because you know to me it just sounds better. But yeah, and I think even the guy from Serbia, I think he told me his ancestors were from Germany, but they had settled in Serbia, and he was asking me, you know, who were the gods and goddesses who were here before the Slavic or Scalaveni gods and goddesses. And then I told him a little bit about the Aurelians, or well, it goes back really to Greece, because you know that whole area, the Balkans, you know, was connected to the Mediterranean. And I told him about the well, the Zane, or the fairies, which you know that goes back to the Aurelian or kind of Greek. It's kind of like an interconnection, like Greek, Aurelian, Celtic. It's all interwoven, in my opinion. You had the Zane, and then I told them a bit about the dragons. The dragons were actually seen in some cases in a positive light in the ancient Balkans, just like in Asia. Um, and then I told them a little bit about the Thracians. And so the Thracians, I don't know if you know about the Thracians, but they're known as the Dragon People. And when I think about that, I think of not only the Welsh, but also the kind of like the Viking longships, you know, with the dragon in front of the longship. I don't know if that's more Norwegian than Danish, or if it's shared. But I told him that, or I think I told him, I don't know if I did, but I told him that the Thracians, their paternal Y lineage, which is I2, at one time it was connected to the Norsemen, or I think the I1 separated from I2 like 5,000 years ago or something. So I think I2, if you go back to, I think like Mesolithic Sweden, I think that was the dominant paternal lineage, and then over time, other paternal lineages kind of came in. But yeah, I was thinking, maybe I told him, that's probably, probably the Thracians and the Welsh and the Norsemen. They probably have all some kind of connection that somehow goes back thousands of years, and that's probably because I guess when the Ice Age, when it had ended and the ice was starting to melt. I guess originally, people were probably further south in southern Europe, and then as the ice continued to recede, they started to go further and further north. So that could be part of it. But yeah, no, it was interesting, and he also told me that the guy from Serbia who apparently has ancestors from Germany, he told me, you're the end to racism, which I thought was cool. And I think he said that just because he looked at my ancestry and he's like, "You're related to all these people?" And I said, "Yeah, it all just kind of came together." So, but no, he was happy at the end of it. But yeah, he told me mayonnaise is a big thing in Serbia. So I imagine mayonnaise is probably. Well, I don't know if it's also really huge in Germany too. I mean, I think they have a brand of mayonnaise called Hellmann. I don't know if that originated in Germany or in the U.S., but I know they have it here. So, and yeah, but yeah, no, um I've also met some Dutch people as well. I actually met a Dutch person that she had recently. She was trying to move from the Netherlands to Florida in the U.S. And one of her biggest things that she liked was she liked uh, she liked going to Taco Bell to get one of the soft drinks, which is called a Baja Blast. I don't know if you've heard of that before, but it's like this kind of like drink that reminds me of Mountain Dew, which is like a soda, if you've had that. Um, and yeah, that was something she always was into, and I told her, and then in the Netherlands they're finally opening Taco Bell, because I think she'd go back and forth from Florida to the Netherlands, and I told her if you ever miss Taco Bell, you can, you guys now have it there. But yeah, it's just so interesting to meet all these different people because I know in the U.S. somehow people think I don't know why they think just well, a lot of people thinking like in white and black, like if you're white, you're white, you're black, you're black. But I think that takes away a lot of who people really are, their culture, and I think that's what Bjorn was trying to talk about, that with his culture. Uh, yeah, no, yeah, it's I know Mountain Dew was also big for like in Halo, if you've played that game before. They would do advertisements for Mountain Dew and Doritos. So, but yeah, no, I think it's good for people to know their roots, like Bjorn says. 'Cause I know in the U.S., I feel like there's a lot of people that they might have a vague idea of their ancestry, but I don't think they really have like a deep understanding, and that one reason could be just because they don't live in the country where their ancestors once lived anymore, or well, and again they could have also had multiple ancestors. So maybe they had one ancestor that was Danish, the other was Italian, the other was Greek, the other was German, maybe even more Asian now. Like they have a thing called in Japan they use the term Wasians and Blasians. What that means in their terms is if you're European and Asian, you're Wasian, and then if you're of Black African descent and Asian, then you're Blasian. So, and then, um, yeah, Hmm. And then, like, now for Native American and Asian, they don't really have a term for that. Maybe they just think Asian or Central Asian or they don't use the term Rasian, but I guess maybe they think out of the three, it's the most Asian. But anyways, yeah, like, and then I have a friend actually. He actually recently had his wedding here in the Pacific Northwest and or inland Pacific Northwest, and which is like Idaho, Eastern Washington, and his ancestry is quite mixed. Like he's um, English, Jewish, Scottish, German, and also Apache. And Apache is a Native American tribe, that settled in the Southwest, but also some of their ancestors had come further north from Alaska originally. And he tells me, I'm Apache or I'm part Apache. And it's part of who he is, and definitely his mother too will say, I, you know, you won't, don't forget my name now, because I think his great grandmother was, or yeah, his great grandmother I think was predominantly Native American Apache. So it's kind of cool to learn, and I think I have some ancestry related to him even on the Asian and native side. I know he always used to joke with me that he was Korean Apache. So, and I told him, you should visit Korea. I know you said you have a connection with Korea, but I know he said he at least wants to visit Japan, and maybe he'll visit Korea too. But yeah, it's quite a melting pot here. I know some people don't think it is. I think they have this stereotype that somehow all Americans, especially I knew a lot of people from the UK or England, they thought Americans I don't know why they thought we ate McDonald's every day and all wore cowboy hats and said yeehaw. You know? To me, it's a bit strange, but I don't know if they think like that too in Denmark of Americans, but that's what some people think in England. Yeah, somehow they think Texas alone is America, nothing else. But yeah, like I think it's good for people to know where they come from because I know the natives definitely do. The natives definitely know where they come from. At least a lot of them do. And I learned a little bit more about that myself, from my dad because he has lineage connected to that, and then of course the Vikings and the Norsemen and all that, and Irish and a bunch of other things. Belgium, he mentions Belgium. Um, yeah, and then my mother, she's probably like she's mainly of European descent. Like she's maybe like Spanish, but also I told you about the Visigoths, and then that they had originated from Scandinavia, and the Lombards too. I think I had some Lombard heritage from her, from the Longobards. They were known as the Longbeards. Their story, or I don't know if you know about them, but or maybe you do because you're Danish, but they were a tribe of warriors really, or people that had originated from Scandinavia. I don't know where from Scandinavia, but they had originated there. I think I don't know if some people mentioned Denmark or Sweden. I'd have to look at it again. But anyways, they migrated south in the Middle Ages, and they had a story of when they were fighting the Vandals. I don't know if you're related to the Vandals, so hopefully this doesn't offend you. But the Lombards were when they were fighting the Vandals, they had connected to Freya. They had commune with Freya because that was a Norse goddess they were connected to. And the women, essentially Freya had told the women, if you want to win against the Vandals, I want you to kind of tie your long hair, uh, in front of you like a beard. So you had all these Lombardic women, yeah, kind of they wore their hair like beards, and then the story goes that Odin took pity on them, and he granted them victory against the Vandals. And then after that, they had settled in northern Italy and Lombardia, and maybe they mixed with the Visigoths and the Aurelians or Greeks and other groups. Italy is quite a melting pot in itself too. So, but yeah, it's an interesting story, and I told my mom that, and then also my dad. I think it's a cool story. The long beards or long bards and their origins. But I have a bit of them in me, so I think by the time they had settled in Italy, they were genetically, or they were closest to the modern day South Dutch and French. But that's and maybe I think North German was another one too. But and then Spanish Catalonia. Yeah. So they had mixed, but that's a good thing. I think you don't want to, like Bjorn would say, you don't want to be too inbred, or that's what my dad would say too. But it's interesting to learn about the stories, about the tales, about where people came from. What was their in Irish you would say the scale. What's their story? What's their scale? Funnily enough, scale sounds a lot like Yale or Yale, or like a raven in from the tribes in British Columbia, like the Tlingit, they'll say Yale, and or it sounds a lot like scale. I think it's because the some of the tribes in Canada that are related to Ket Siberians, which they originated in Siberia, or I guess it'd be modern day Russia, but I also call it Siberia. And and the story is that the Ket Siberians may also be related not only to the natives but also to the Celtic people, to those who became the Celts. And maybe that's one reason why Uncle Herman, he calls me Celtic Healer as well. Um, and yeah, it's just really interesting to learn. Really interesting to learn. You know, what was the story? What was the I don't know how you would say it in Danish or Norwegian, but what was the tale? How did people go from one place to the other, and why, and how, and you know. I know right now there's a lot of Americans, or I don't know how many, but there's an amount that they now want to move to Europe. Or I don't know, some people would say back to Europe, but I think in their mind they think America is going down the pot, and it's time to tag out. But I think for me, I feel like living here. I mean, it hasn't always been easy, and well, I'm sure that's the case anywhere, regardless where you live. But I think that the beauty of the U.S. I know so many people talk negative things about this place, but to me, the beauty, despite who I call a lot of people call him the Orange Menace now, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, or the Orange Degenerate. But anyways, despite him, um, you know, living here, you just meet so many different people with so many different stories. I'm sure. I mean, I guess you could say the same too in Europe or in Japan or wherever you would choose to live, but living here is just you. At least for me, I've just encountered so many different people, so many different stories. From you know, Japanese to native to well, sometimes the cross section, you know, Italian and all and Danish American Viking and I think he lived in New York. You know, all these interesting accounts, and I think that's one reason why I love living here. You know, and I also love the beauty of the nature of well, the oceans, like the oceans, and when I lived in Florida were nice. Well, the hurricanes not so much, but the beauty of the oceans were nice, and also the trees and the mountains in the Pacific Northwest. Um, you know, they're also a sight to behold. Oh, I'm sure you've probably seen some of America's beauty when you visited. Um, and if you enjoyed it, then I'm glad. Because again, with all this negative news, you know, recently rolling about the U.S. and you know, I'm just glad that I can share something positive, you know. And but I have enjoyed, you know, traveling abroad as well. You know, and I think that's what Bjorn said one time. He said a lot of people from the U.S. or well, he said Americans, so he technically could apply to anyone from Patagonia to the tip of Canada or Alaska. But he just said a lot of Americans they've never have traveled abroad before. They haven't been to Europe, or they haven't been to Asia, or they haven't been to, I guess, well, Africa too. They haven't been, you know, they don't know. And I think that I think it's been good to learn, you know, good to learn, to experience, to visit, and also to talk to other people, like I'm doing with you now, just to see what other people think, what you know, what's you know, what their own story is or what their own perspectives are. Yeah, and I'm glad you feel that way because I feel that way too. And that's why, you know, when other Americans say, you know, it's time to hit the boat, it's time to go to Italy, or it's time to they'll use the word expat. I don't like that word. It's like Bjorn. He doesn't like the word buddy. He doesn't like when people call him buddy because like they'll say you should be fighting the immigrants, buddy. And then he's like, "I'm not your buddy," or I'm not really not the way they say it, or you're not a Viking buddy, you know. And or I'm sure if they said, you know, you're going to hell, buddy, he'd probably chase him with an axe. But anyways, you know, yeah, that's the last time. That's the last time they uttered buddy from their mouth. But anyways, yeah, like they'll say, yeah, yeah, I'm an expat. I'm going to Mexico, or nothing wrong with that. But you know, I'm going to Mexico, or I'm going to Italy, or I'm going to Spain, or I'm going to Germany, or I'm going to Japan, or I'm going to Africa, or whatever. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if they choose to live in another country for however long, you know, after leaving the U.S., that's okay. I just think, you know, one thing is doing that, and the other thing is saying, oh yeah, America, you know, it's pile of garbage, you know, they make it sound like that what they're leaving is like the lowest of the low, like it's like they don't want to be associated with it at all. And honestly, I think that this country, again, like I told you, in a way, it's been a blessing, even though. You know, I've learned a lot of the history of the natives, you know, because it's also connected to me and as well. It's also connected to Asia. Well, I'll have to tell you because the thing with the natives too, I know people have their stereotypes about them. You know, how they look, how they dress, and all that. But I've learned that the natives, you know, have different maternal lineages. Like, you know, some have lineages going back to Polynesia or Southeast Asia. Some have lineages going to East Asia or like Japan and Korea or Siberia, and then I think some also have what they call tungzik. Tungzik is like it's not necessarily Turkic or Mongolian, but it's kind of like Northeast Asian. You know, there's that too. And you know, it's just yeah. Yeah, exactly. And then of course, you know, we can't forget that democracy, because you know, part of my ancestry is also related to the ancient Greeks, or to the Mycenaean Greeks and Trojans. You know, it goes back to Greece. You know, and I think a lot of people um, you know, I'll give you an example. Like even you know, I'm gonna try to see how I can put into words. Sorry. I think a lot of people they don't realize, like for example, when someone is speaking Spanish, you know, uh, a lot of people in the U.S. they'll get an attitude and say, you know, you know, we only speak English. And there's not wrong with speaking English, of course, because you know I speak English, and you know it's really also connected back to Scandinavia, or at least part of it. But part of it's also connected to Latin as well. You know, that goes back to Rome and Italy, but also to Greece. And that's why, you know, some words in English and Spanish, they sound similar. Like, I'm going to think of an example for you. Like civilization, civilización. I'm saying it the Spaniard way. But, and then they would say democracy, demokratia, um, philosophy, philosophia. Need a bit more practice again, but but you get the idea though that the words are just like how you have a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's the same thing with things like democratia, civilización, philosophia. You know, things like that. You know, it's part of the English language. You know, it's part of the lexicon. And I think most people they don't know that, um, or maybe they do. I don't know. Yeah, and um, you know, and I think it also helps to know more than one language because, you know, for example, let's say someone goes to Norway or Denmark. I'm sure you know you guys would appreciate if tourists were willing to even speak like an ounce of Danish, you know. At least when I went to Italy, they appreciated when I tried to speak a little bit of Italian, like buongiorno, and you know, which I think it connects to like buenos dias, like in Spanish, you know, kind of good day, good morning. You know, just little things like that. I don't know how you would say it in Danish or Norwegian, but yeah, it's yeah, um you know, technically the English here, well, I don't know if they also have it in England, but here in the US you'll have certain words that to me, you know, sound German, but they're used in the English language here. Like the word klutz, for example, is used here, which I think is I think German or Yiddish, or it's like a cross section. And then people also use the word what's another term? I'm trying to think. Well, this is I think this is more French. People will say a la carte, a la carte. Um, then what else? Excuse me. Then some people will also use feng shui, which is well Chinese. Um, but it just shows you people, even when they speak English or American English here, or however you want to say it, they're not always only speaking English. You know, they're also speaking other languages, you know, too. And some people may not even realize it, you know. But I'm glad I can share this with you because I feel like um, not to say people in the U.S. don't understand because I have friends here in the U.S. other Americans who they usually understand what I'm saying when I share this, but I feel like a lot of Europeans they I don't know if it's because you guys travel more or you guys are just more exposed to other cultures, but I feel like a lot of people from Europe who I've shared this with, they just have a better grasp. They have a better understanding. My words, it doesn't sound as Greek to them. Or well, maybe if I was in Greece, they would understand completely what I was saying. No pun intended. But yeah, like it just they just understand me better, or they understand my point gets across. I guess is what I'm saying, you know. And I know Bjorn said one time, um, well, he makes a joke because I think of the flat earthers because there are some people on his channel who believe that the Earth is flat, and I wouldn't be surprised if most of those people come from the U.S. You know. But anyways, he was saying if you have an IQ higher than your shoe number, then you would know that they've done research to say that the Earth is not flat. But some people still believe the Earth is flat, and it's kind of silly, really. But and everyone has an opinion. Not wrong with that, but these are the same people that will also tell Bjorn you're going to hell for believing in Odin or Thor, or, you know, stuff like that. I think I told Bjorn I had I had like oh, that's funny. Yeah, I actually have big feet. It's size 13, so I'm glad my IQ is higher than that. Anyways, what was I gonna say? Okay, so I told Bjorn I was related to a because I have a lot of ancestry from everywhere. I had a ancestor I was related to, or sample I was related to from Nevada, Spirit Cave, Nevada, which is like a state kind of a little bit southwest of here, of where I live currently. But they found out that the native was his the way his uh, they call it a cranial morphology. I know that's kind of a big term, but anyways, the way his I guess face was structured, it kind of resembled the not only the Ainu from Japan. I don't know if you know about the Ainu, but size 8. Oh wow. Well, if you go to Japan, you probably wouldn't have a hard time finding a shoe that fits you then, because I know for some people, especially if they have big feet, so probably myself, I would probably have a hard time finding a shoe that fits me in Japan. Um, but anyways, so um, what was it? Oh yeah. Oh, nice. That's nice to hear. Yeah. So anyways, I heard that yeah, so he was so the way his face was structured, or the cranial morphology, or I guess his head, or however you want to say it. I think cranium relates to the head or skull. Um, he like it looks similar not only to the Ainu. The Ainu are known as kind of like the one of the indigenous people of Japan that have lived there for thousands of years, at least connected to the Jomon, especially the indigenous Japanese, the ones who it was easier for them to grow beards. Um, some people say that the samurai part of their lineage was descended from the Jomon, so that's why maybe you had samurai like Miyamoto Musashi who actually could grow a beard Because I know some of the Japanese say they can't grow beards. I know some of the South Koreans say that too. But oh, size 6. All right then. Well, you definitely won't have a problem getting a shoe in Japan and Korea. But anyway, so yeah, those were one of the people that the native from Nevada that I was connected to was related to the Ainu from Japan. He was also related to the Norsemen too, to the Norse people. Or yeah, the Jomon can definitely grow a lot of body hair, or the indigenous Japanese, the Jomon for sure. They could grow body hair and beards, and I wouldn't be surprised if the Ainu, in some ways, or the Jomon, are related to the Norse, because apparently the samples, the ancestral match I was related to was also related to Norsemen. So I was like, okay, so apparently this person that lived in Nevada, this Native American long ago, was not only related to people who were related to the samurai, but they were also related to people related to like the Vikings or the Norsemen. I know not all Norse were technically not all of them went Viking, because I think Bjorn also says Viking is also a verb too, like you go Viking, kind of like you go walking. Um, but yeah, that was pretty interesting to learn, and it just goes to show like how ancestry can go back, many thousands of years, and and it's interesting, because I know, there are people in Japan today. I saw a video of a man that was growing his beard, and I'm glad he did, because I know people have this. Some people have this stereotype that Japanese can't, that none of them can grow beards. But if you go back specifically to their Jomon lineage, their indigenous Japanese lineage, which the Japanese are themselves, they're not only what do you call it? Not only Yayoi. Yayoi would be people who had migrated from Korea around 2,000 years ago, 2,000, 2,500 years ago. They had migrated from Korea into Japan. They were, I think, at the time they were maybe like a mixture of Korean, but over time also some Chinese as well, from the Yangtze River. So they had that ancestry, of course, which is part of who they are today. But they also have the Jomon lineage too, which goes back 10, 20,000 years ago, and they could grow beards, and some of them also had a lot of body hair. And so there are Japanese who try to break that stereotype, and some of them do grow beards. I know that was also a big thing for some of the samurai during like the maybe even was before the Tokugawa era, like in the 1600s and before, that they one of their uh, things that they took pride in as samurai at the time was that they could grow a beard, and I'm sure also that might have corresponded to their hair as well in some ways, at least for some of them. So yeah, I think there's a lot you can learn with each culture. There's and I think a lot of people just don't know um, until you tell them about it, or um, no, because yeah, no, I feel like if Ice Poseidon, if Miyamoto Musashi was still living today, if Miyamoto Musashi was that taxi driver, and what's his name? Uh, if Ice Poseidon, smashed that or tried to break the front glass of Musashi's cab, I wouldn't be surprised if Musashi, held a samurai sword to his neck. Because I've read a Vagabond, which is like kind of a comic or manga of the story of Miyamoto Musashi. It was actually my friend Jess. She was part Native American, probably Tsimshian. Tsimshian is from British Columbia. It's a tribe from British Columbia. I think that was her father's lineage, and then her mother was Scottish. Yeah, yeah, of course. Yeah, my friend Jess would tell me that she resembled a medieval Japanese woman, and she actually and she did. And of course, my great grandmother Lita did too. Well, not only medieval but even modern. Um, but yeah, I read Vagabond, and it's interesting to learn how the samurai, like Miyamoto Musashi, there was a panel where he fought like 100 men all at once, alone. That takes a lot of guts to do that. It's tough enough to fight one person, two people, three people, but to fight 100 men all by yourself and still, come alive to tell the tale. It's like equivalent to the Spartans, who fought against the Persians in the Battle of Thermopylae. The 300 Spartans. Uh, and yeah, it's I think people just don't know, or even if they know, they like for example, I'll give you an example with Johnny Somali. Um, he after the whole thing happened with the comfort women in Korea, the statue, he said, I didn't know about this. I didn't know how important it was to the Korean people. But you can see in his earlier streams, he clearly shows an understanding of what they meant, to the Koreans. So sometimes even if people do know, they act like they don't know. And yeah, it's just and then with Ice Poseidon, just going around and harassing Koreans by speaking some gibberish. I don't know if he did it to the Japanese as well, but it's just it's really odd. I think there was a person though uh, from not from the U.S. but from England, from the UK. I don't know if you saw the video, but he was in Japan and he was filming, you know, uh, people in Japan, and he threw a snowball at a Japanese guy, and it was actually a couple from, I think they were from Germany. I think they were German, but they told the guy, you can't do that, and then the guy from the UK said, why? It's a joke, and he said, well, it's not funny to him. You shouldn't have uh, thrown that snowball at him. It looked like it kind of hurt him a bit. But yeah, it's just really, yeah. Hopefully those things eventually change in Japan and South Korea, but it's just it's like one after the other. But I think people said, if they did that in the U.S., you probably would get shot or something. But and especially here in Idaho, I wouldn't doubt it. But but yeah, not I'm not advocating people shooting each other, but you know, it's one of those things. I think the South Koreans and Japanese, though, I think they'll eventually find a way to work through things, because I know, excuse me, I know that they're still getting used to the influx of or well. Oh, do you have a weapon? I do actually. I have a rune scimitar actually. I'm actually gonna probably take a break from mining for a little bit because I'm getting a little bit tired. But I'll talk with you and anyone else who's watching the stream a bit more, just because, I think that's what's been keeping the stream going for me for a while now. Um, but I actually can add you on my friends list if you want me to, or you can subscribe to the channel, or however you want to do it. No, I'm glad I can share these things with you, just because a lot's been going on in the world lately. Um, Makes me think of One Piece too, if you ever read that. But okay, so what's your name again on in the game? Is it Sunshine or? Oh, Sunshin. Okay, let me get that. Oh, nice. Are you currently offline, by the way, or are you? Hopefully, it's spelled got that right. Yeah. Oh yeah, that was kind of cool what we were doing. Well, at first we met and we were kind of fighting a little bit for the mining spot, and then we eventually found a way to share it. That was pretty cool. I'm glad I decided to go there instead of just being in mining Runescence forever. Um, but yeah, yeah, no, it's yeah. Hopefully, if you when you do go to Japan and South Korea again, hopefully things will calm down a bit with the nuisance streamers, because even the Japanese, I watched a video. There's another guy, I think he was from the UK. I feel like if it's not the US, it's the UK for whatever reason. And, I also kind of feel a bit bad for them as well. But anyways, there's a guy from the UK, I think, and I don't know if he was trying to pick up girls at a bar, and I think it was in Hokkaido of all places. So it wasn't even Tokyo, it was Hokkaido in Sapporo. And then I actually played a game called Legends Arceus recently that kind of connected to Hokkaido. But anyways, so he was trying to pick a girl at a bar, and then I think the girl had the boyfriend or something, and he wanted to pick a fight with the guy, and then I eventually, I don't know what else he was doing, but I think he was, I don't know if he was harassing a Japanese person, but all of a sudden there was a Japanese who started who ran at him like with a bottle, like from the bar or something. And the guy was like, "Get away from me, get away from me." And then the Japanese man, kept going after him. And yeah, it was just really weird. Um, in the sense that I'm gonna try to see if I can explain it. It's weird how it got to that point, So in Sapporo of all places, it wasn't even Tokyo. It was all the way in Hokkaido. All right, Jesper. Just know it was nice to have you on the stream. It was nice to share. It's also nice to speak to someone international as well. It was always nice to meet people from other countries. I'm gonna see if I can find someone who's buying Rune Essence. Stay down. Oh, I guess he's offline now. Alright, see you later. Hope you take care, Jesper. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wrap up the stream selling these essence, and then we'll go from there. I can... See if I can find someone here. Oh, let me get see if I can give him something. See if he'll accept it. There you go. if I can get him something. Let me see if I can get him. There you go. uh, hey RPG Live, glad you could join the stream. I actually had someone from Denmark that I was talking to for a while about ancestry and history and Japan and all Korea, all that good stuff. And yeah, no, recently I've been selling a lot of rune essences, iron ore, and some other stuff too. Yeah, gems. Yeah, it's been great. I also got myself an amulet of glory. Let me see. Let me see if I can get him something else. I'm trying. I was trying to outfit this level 3 with some gear. Oh, let me see if I have some. I don't know if I do. Check. Oh, I have one bead actually. Got a yellow bead if you're looking for it. I can sell it to you for um 2.5k or best offer. Um, best offer considered, yeah. Let me see. This guy offline. I guess so. No worries. I'll probably still have it, or maybe I will afterwards. I can keep it for you if you want. I don't know if by that time you'll get one, but excuse me. I was also working towards getting 40 mining for Watchtower, and I mined a bunch of rune essences and iron ore. Let's see. Hope your day has gone well, by the way. Oh, he dropped the axe. No. Alright, let me open this. Yeah, I got 20 gold coins. It's not bad. Not the worst. See if we can get him. We're back here, RPG live. We're back at the West Bank West Bank shenanigans. Selling rune essences of all things, yeah. See if we can. Bronze axe. No. That's crazy. Oh yeah, I cannot bluff. It's probably a pure, but see. See if we can get him to. Well, let's see if he's interested in buying the rune essence. Are you still here, RPG, or did you? Are you already gone? I'm probably gonna wrap up the stream soon. It's been a good one. It's been a good stream. Started off slow and then it kind of picked up from there. See if I can. Oh, man. You know what? That's not bad. I'll take it. Fashion sweet. No worries. Just sold him a cape for 1000K and 2 flax. Oh, they're dropping flax on the ground. Wow, that's pretty cool. Not the flax printing business. That's silly. I guess people are making it into bows and then people alk it. Oh no, he already left. Okay, so yeah. So that yeah, I guess you're right. The batch, or well, that's why I did rune essences too. Well, I did it for mining, for 40 mining, but well, also did that in iron ore. Okay, let me see. Find a soul eventually heart that might be interested. Okay. Maybe I don't know if there's anyone at the other bank who might be interested buying essences. Let's see. Wow, that's actually really good. That's what, half a mil an hour? Or well, yeah, that's a lot, especially in this game. Find someone here. Yeah, definitely is. says. I'll take it. I'll take that. That's fair. All right. Ah, at least I found someone who wanted to buy him. I've got 8 glories in the bank. Wow. I guess in this game, glories are. There you go. I'm glad to hear. I always like to trade the hats in the game because I figure it kind of adds life to whoever's wearing them. He looks so good in it too. Yeah. Huge. Well, I'm gonna give him something. Now he has the wizard hat. Alright, I think I'm gonna end the stream here. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope thanks for coming RPG Live. It's nice to have you as always. And I'll be heading off for now. Bye for now.